Gyre's new augment is really strong. There are a couple videos out now about like how strong that this is, first by Ketchup, and I think there was another one that specifically went over the Gunblade influence kind of thing that I'm doing in this video today, but it just didn't show any builds, so I decided to like proof of concept this up to level cap, and it worked really well. I mean, obviously melee influence is super busted, but I'll just read out the augment for you guys now. It's an arc sphere augment that has all projectiles passing through arc sphere have a guaranteed electric status effect and an increased electricity damage. At base it's 75%, but it actually scales up with strength. So on my build, I think it goes up to 160% extra electricity damage. It does stack with your 3 different arc spheres, so you get more electric procs, but in my testing I didn't notice that the damage was any different when I stacked the spheres up to like 3 times versus like more or less. It seemed the same, but that's probably just because these enemies are really squishy and they're not really showing the highest DOTs. Also in practice when I was doing this in Void Cascade, there are so many red numbers from Gyre's other abilities that I kind of can't see what the dots are looking like. The highest that I looked at was like 2.1 million off the Stropha, and I haven't really tried out the Vastalok to level cap yet, but I expect that the numbers would be about the same and the time to kill would be about identical compared to the Stropha. Based on just like my testing, it seems like they're pretty comparable anyways. I'll play some of the damage testing that I did in the background while I go over why we're using Gunblades right now. I think it's just cool, and the projectiles out of Gunblades actually do like count as projectiles that'll get buffed with the guaranteed electric status proc, and also with you know, the electric damage bonus. What's really nice about that guaranteed electric proc is that you can use it to abuse melee influence, which works really well whenever you can get a melee to have a guaranteed electric proc. That's why the Falcor is so strong and why the Zorus is so strong. So we can kind of get the same effect with Gunblades, and Gunblades are just like, again, really cool. So the fact that Gyre can use them is awesome, and the build functions really well. So as you can see in the background, the Vastalok is kind of doing okay. It has a really high multi-shot, which is nice, but I found that it doesn't really go above like 500,000 damage over time. I'm sure that in practice this will go like way higher. It might also be a build issue, I'm not sure. I'm using the same exact build on the Stropha and the Vastalok. The Vastalok might be benefited with some tweaks. I don't know if you can like maybe fit an element on there like Blast instead of just like the electric mod that I have there. It would be probably a lot better. Maybe like it would be able to stack that really fast and do a lot of blast damage. In terms of the Stropha, it has a single shot, it has no multi-shot I think, single shots on both its neutral fire and its heavy attack, but they do a lot of damage. They have a really high like damage number, and I think that between the Vastalok and the Stropha is a lot better for kind of close range, very good single target damage. The Vastalok though has something that the Stropha doesn't, which is a really long range. The Stropha falls off almost immediately, like you really notice it. You can't even shoot down hallways, but the Vastalok can. I think its damage drop off is like 23 meters on the low end versus the Stropha's is like 16 something meters on the high end. Yeah, 16 meters on the high end, so it's a pretty short range. In terms of like how they differ damage wise, I think that like the Stropha has a higher like potential tick of damage so far, at least in Simulacrum. I'm not sure that there's any other real difference though. You can pick whichever one you like better. I picked the Stropha because I like the sound effect more. I'll start with the Gyre build here. For the shards, I just went with casting speed and parkour velocity and ability strength. Honestly, these don't really matter besides maybe the casting speed shards that you might want. You might also take like electricity shards for primaries or whatever if you wanted to use her to buff your other weapons, for example, because she still works really well to buff secondaries and primaries and other melees and all kinds of stuff with her projectile bonuses. So in terms of the build, we have Brief Respite because you get a little bit of shield back if you're casting your 1 all the time. Prime Sure-Footed, but you can replace that for whatever you happen to have. Hand Spring, Ice Spring, whatever you'd like. Blind Rage, if you don't like the reduced ability efficiency, you can just use Transient Fortitude here and it'll work okay. I did go for Pillage, so I wanted higher strength because I kind of want closer to a full armor strip, but not 100% armor strip. I have Arcane Fury here, but honestly, Arcane Molt Augmented is better. I feel like than Rage. I don't really feel a bonus off of Rage. Arcane Aegis for, you know, some more survivability. Archon Stretch for some energy. Equilibrium for energy. Continuity and Prime Flow just as general. Nice to haves. I put them on every build. Rolling Guard, if you're not using her for Steel Path, for like level cap and just for base Steel Path, you can put Adaptation here, whatever you'd like. Conductive Sphere and Cathode Current are like our bread and butter. Cathode Current makes sure that her 3rd and 4th ability are basically always active as long as you continue to get kills. And you also get Conductive Sphere here, which is, you know, what's making our Gunfluence work in this case. In terms of our weapons, the builds are exactly identical. Basically, I have Focus Energy to buff the electricity damage and just kind of pump up that electricity tick a little bit more. I'm going for kind of an initial combo build, similar to the way that you would go for on the glaives, just because it seems to work really well with Influence and it keeps your combo up without having to worry about building it back up on your Gunblades. And then, of course, melee Influence. For the Stropha, the build is again basically the same. You have Prime Fury and things like that, Melee Elementalist, Galvanized Reflex, all the same stuff, just different forma slots. Something to note about the Stropha is that you might want to go for headshots more often with this than you would with the Vastalok, because headshots seem to scale the damage up a little bit. At the very least, you will get really high single target damage as long as you're going for headshots on the Stropha, because these projectiles are very, very strong. But yeah, that's basically it. Pretty simple, pretty easy builds. Just kind of min-maxed it a little bit for you guys. The original idea came from Ketchup, so, you know, thanks for the really cool idea. I thought that this was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys try it out too. You can see my Gyre level cap run that I did a little bit ago. I posted it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have audio, but you can like look at it to see kind of how I played around it. Yeah, besides that, if there's anything, any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Anything you want me to try, I'll also try out also in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for all the recent support. I hope that the guides have been a little bit helpful to you all. Thanks for watching. See ya.